Hola, Aries singles. Welcome. It's Monday, Aries and Taurus day. And we already shuffled. We'll get a little more, get your energy on it. Now, this is going to be the April reading, getting out early, the month of April. This is for our singles, our four pillars read. See what we can come up with. Light and love, so it serves greatest good. The month of April. For our Aries friends. And this singles, so I call it super singles. So what we're going to do is clear the runway of anybody else, and you're super single and wide open, and that's going to give Spirit time to Spirit Airlines. I wonder I just got in trouble. Spirit Airlines is gonna bring your person down, your soulmate, and land them, and then we're gonna go out on a date and get to know them. That's what we're gonna try and do. So this is your person, emotionally stable person, I'll tell you that. Intellectually, two cards of moving away. Intellectually, why it's a challenging reading. Sexually, you got the Lovers, so Gemini card. Could be a Gemini Mars. You're into astrology, keep that out. And with lifestyle and core values, you get the Queen of Swords and the Five of Wands. Lovers and the Queen of Pentacles. So, what we're going to do is try to identify your person. So if you're out on a date, you can kind of know who they are, get a feel for them, and remember, this is your person, number one. What's the assumption of this reading? This is not your next problem, your next ex-person. This is your person, the one that's right for you. Right and true for you is their right and true for you as you're right and true for them. So emotionally, boy, traditional. So also, we're talking about a person who's traditional minded in their beliefs. If they grew up in a Christian household, it would be Christian, a Muslim household, would be Muslim, etc. And I think they're fixed. I mean, they could have a fixed moon. I would be surprised they had like a Taurus moon, if you want to look at their moons. Or it could just be like an Earth moon, a Capricorn moon, a Virgo moon. Virgo moon, maybe not. Not so stable sometimes, because that's a stable person. So, one thing about this person, they don't change their mind a lot. Okay? So if you get to know them, I mean, not going to change your feelings a lot. So if you get to know them and they get to like you, they're not going to just whimsically decide they don't love you. And they're going to have a history of that. So they're going to tell you a story like this. Be like, I was stuck in a relationship for X amount of years, even though it was loveless, because there were responsibilities and because it was a marriage, because marriage is important and my children are important. I'm saying that isn't true. This is going to be their story. Not everybody might see it that way, like it or not, but they do. And I would be real surprised they weren't telling you some kind of story like that. So they're not someone's going to get excited. You're not going to see them get emotionally excited. It's going to be kind of hard to rattle them, you know. It's the real stability. You'll probably notice this, particularly maybe that story. Now intellectually, you got something different here with the Six of Swords and the Eight of Cups. I tell you this, they do not like to argue. This is kind of like, I think, describing me in this regard. Like they just don't want to argue. They might want to have a conversation where it's back and forth, and you know, they discover something, you discover something, but when it comes to arguing, it's just not in them, like a Libra Mercury or something like that. And I think they're very careful about what they say. They may have a story from childhood where they were told to shut up, where they literally said, you know, children are meant to be seen and not heard. Um, there could be, I want to say, abandonment issues. Sometimes being strong like this can be abandonment issues. You know, you move to your strength, and um, you're not gonna, like, the only thing that never abandoned me was abandonment issues. It's kind of the irony, but they may have resolved themselves there. But intellectually, it's kind of like some kind of fearful thinking. Like they don't want to go into certain areas. Oh, it reminds me of somebody that doesn't like that Scorpio Pluto energy, of where you go deep and look at the shadow stuff. I don't think they want to do that. So remember now, this is your person, okay, Aries. So, but this is not a person that wants to have the deep conversations, look at anything dark. Um, they may want to just kind of keep conversation light, you know, and they may listen. You may have a really hard time. Try this. Try to get a arousal out of them between this and the emotional. Like, just try to get a find out. I don't know if they're a Republican or Democrat. You know, if they're a Democrat, tell them, hey, you know, they're Republican. How about that Trump? He's great, isn't he? See if you get a rise. Because even if they are a Democrat, they might not be someone who's going to rise to the bait. And another thing comes to mind, you're probably not going to know what's on their mind. I mean, it's almost like they don't know what's on their mind, this person. You know, they don't really think about things real deeply about, they don't think about the emotions. They have, like I do, my whole life. It's like, why did I have that thought? Oh, it's related to this emotion, deep connection. No, they're not going to do any of that, okay? So that could be good too. You don't have to worry about if they don't, if they're stable emotionally, and maybe they don't need to do it, so that's okay. Now, when it comes to lovers, with the Queen of Pentacles, I think there's someone that knows they're a good lover. Maybe not something someone would say, but they may, if you push them a little bit or kidding around, they may kind of know they're a good lover. And I think they're going to be really, in terms of love, very kind of grounded in a little bit of the slow hand thing. Probably not going to, they may not want to make love on the first date. I think it depends on how it hits on your first date, because this is your person, remember. So, but if I tell you this, if they do make love on the first date, they're blown away with someone, okay? And there's someone who romance means a lot to them in terms of lovemaking too. So they like to have the lovemaking is not an exercise in gymnastics to them. You know, it's grounding to them. They maybe need it. It makes them feel grounded. And I got the feeling they're just really good lovers. Like, and they may take lovemaking seriously. You know, like at the end of it, like if your knees aren't weak and your thighs aren't quivering and you haven't had 10 orgasms, they may be feeling like, damn, you know, I need to do better. So I don't know if that's good or bad. But in terms of their lifestyle, with the Queen of Swords and the Five of Wands and lifestyle, one clarifier here. Okay, so this is about work, clarifying this with the Three of Pentacles. So, you know, this is very interesting because you look at how they are. This always remind myself again. I'm this way, where I don't like to argue. I don't like to be called out. I don't really like to assert myself. Believe what you want. But when it comes to lifestyle, and I think this is about work with the Three of Pentacles, they're very good at what they do. They take it really seriously. It's important to them. They're proud of it, what they do. So work's going to be important to them. You're going to find that out. What kind of story are they going to tell about work? So there's someone that, you know, whatever they're doing, it's almost like this, they would maybe make a joke, or maybe they're not joking. I would do this if I won the lottery. I would do this even if I won the lottery. They're not doing it just for money. But what are they doing? It's something that involves communication. You know what most jumps out here is a resolution specialist, someone, a dispute specialist. You know, I knew a guy once worked for the Department of Indian Affairs. They're literally going around in different states and dealing with disputes and arbitrations. So someone that does arbitrations would be this. I mean, it could even be a judge here or someone. But this is someone that, like, when they go into work, they have to, like, almost put on a mask or even put on, like, armor or become, they have to sort of shift into this different version of themselves because they're being very assertive at work. And they're dealing with conflict. You know, I had a job in a dispatch office for a very large concrete company, and it was very much like this. It was like always having to deal with conflict problems because I solved the problem. If somebody had a problem, they ended up at my desk. Hey, you know, and a lot of times there were big problems, and so it's kind of like all day this energy of having to confront people and be assertive and be forceful. And I think they're going to tell you about their work like this. For one thing, it means a lot to them. You know, maybe that's how they express this part of themselves. They worked out something. How they stay stable emotionally is they deal with this energy from the past where they weren't listened to and they were discounted when they were children and maybe even young adults. And then in their work, they picked a job where they use the opposite energy. They use all of that, their own assertiveness, their own. This is not backing down. They're not, whatever they do for a living, they don't back down. They can't. That's not their job. Their job is to bring it, you know, in some way. So, Aries, for the singles reading for April, let me know what you think. Somebody please join a dating site and get a reading, and let's do this. Because I know it's going to work. You might need to go out there and sift through some, say next a few times till you get to this person.